Most people watching this right now believe they're smarter than average. It feels natural to think that way. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone can be above average, and the people who are most wrong about their intelligence are usually the least aware of it. So here's the real question. What if you're one of them? What if some of your everyday habits are quietly working against you without you even noticing? In this video, you're going to see 8 habits of people who think they're smart but actually aren't. And if you recognize even a few of these in yourself, don't ignore it, because awareness is where real intelligence begins. Habit number 1. You get defensive when people question you. Pay attention to how you react when someone disagrees with your opinion or challenges your idea. Do you feel the urge to prove yourself right immediately? Do you feel slightly offended or uncomfortable? That reaction is a big signal. People who think they're smart often tie their identity to being right. So when someone questions them, it doesn't just feel like a disagreement. It feels like an attack. Truly intelligent people don't panic when they're challenged. They get curious. They ask questions. They focus more on getting to the truth than protecting their ego. If you always need to win arguments, you're not thinking. You're performing. Habit number 2. You use complicated words to sound smart. There's a big difference between understanding something and sounding like you understand it. People who think they're smart often hide behind big words, jargon, and complicated explanations. But here's the reality. If you can't explain something in simple terms, you probably don't fully understand it. Real intelligence is clarity, not confusion. The smartest people can take complex ideas and break them down so anyone can understand. If your explanations leave people more confused instead of more clear, that's a sign you're trying to impress, not communicate. Habit number 3. You think you're rarely wrong. This one is dangerous because it feels like confidence, but it's actually blindness. People who overestimate their intelligence tend to believe they're right most of the time, even when they're not. And the worst part is, they don't even notice their mistakes, because the same skills needed to think clearly are the same skills needed to recognize when you're wrong. So if those skills are weak, your errors become invisible to you. Ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you were completely sure about something and later realized you were wrong? If you can't remember, that's not a good sign. Habit number 4. You talk more than you listen. Conversations are one of the fastest ways to learn, but only if you're actually listening. People who think they're smart often dominate conversations. They wait for their turn to speak instead of paying attention. They interrupt. They finish other people's sentences. They focus on sounding impressive instead of understanding what's being said. And the result is simple. They leave the conversation knowing exactly what they knew before. Intelligent people do the opposite. They listen deeply. They ask real questions. They're open to being surprised because they know every person they talk to knows something they don't. Habit number 5. You see things in black and white. The world is complex, but the brain loves simple categories, like right or wrong, good or bad, smart or stupid. People who think they're smart often fall into this trap. They make quick judgments and stick to them. They use words like always, never, everyone, nobody, because it feels easier than dealing with nuance. But reality is rarely that simple. Intelligent thinking requires holding multiple ideas at the same time, even when they conflict. It requires saying, "I'm not sure yet," instead of rushing to a conclusion. If you always need a clear answer immediately, you're sacrificing accuracy for comfort. Habit number 6. You hate changing your mind. Changing your mind should feel like progress. It means you've learned something new. But for many people, it feels like losing. It feels like admitting they were wrong. So instead of updating their beliefs, they defend them, even when new evidence shows up. They argue, they justify, they double down, and this is where growth stops. Intelligent people don't cling to beliefs, they update them. They understand that being wrong is part of getting closer to the truth, so they don't fear it, they use it. If you find yourself resisting new information just because it contradicts what you already believe, that's not intelligence, that's ego. Habit number 7. You think you already know enough. Curiosity is one of the strongest signs of real intelligence. It's what pushes people to keep learning, to ask deeper questions, to explore new ideas. But people who think they're smart often lose that curiosity. They feel like they already understand things well enough, so they stop questioning. They stop digging deeper, and over time, their thinking becomes shallow without them realizing it. That quiet feeling of, "I already know this," is one of the biggest growth killers. Intelligent people stay curious. No matter how much they know, they're always asking why, always looking for a deeper layer, always open to being surprised. Habit number 8, you blame everything but yourself. When something goes wrong, what's your first instinct? Do you blame other people, bad timing, bad luck, or the system? Sometimes those things are real, but if it's always the answer, there's a problem. People who think they're smart often avoid looking at their own role in situations because it's uncomfortable. It requires self-reflection, and that takes effort. But without that reflection, there's no improvement. You keep making the same mistakes in different situations. Intelligent people do something different. They look inward. They ask, "What could I have done better?" Not to blame themselves, but to learn, because that's how you grow. And here's the most important part. The biggest sign that you might not be as smart as you think is watching this and being certain none of these apply to you. Because the moment you believe you have nothing to improve is the moment you stop growing. Real intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being aware of what you don't know, staying open, staying curious, and being willing to question yourself. So as you go through your day, start paying attention. Notice your reactions, your habits, your thinking patterns. Because the goal isn't to feel bad, the goal is to become better. And that starts with seeing clearly where you actually stand.